developing the market research plan. Remember what I said before. The failure to plan is a plan to fail. And so if that is the case, then this is our plan to succeed. So we're going to list the objectives of the market research to be conducted. So the perspective that I put things into is that, and I try to relate these to things that everyone can relate to. So let's say that you are going to have a kitchen in your home remodeled. And if you're going to have a kitchen in your home remodeled, there probably are three things that you want to know about those repairs. And the first is how much is it going to cost? That's important because it's your money. Okay, so when the government does something and they're spending money, that's your money too, and that's the way you need to look at that. The second thing that you want to know is how long is it going to take? Because you need to have a schedule. You'd like to know how long am I going to have to eat out? How many dinners and breakfasts and lunches am I going to have to go out and eat at a restaurant or next door before I get my kitchen back? And then the last thing you want to know, and this is important since I'm married, is how is this going to look when it's done? And so if I don't know how long it's going to take, how much it's going to cost, and what it's going to look like when it's done, then those are bits of information that I need to try to figure out the answers to. It is no different than what you're doing with your market research plan. So when you start this plan, you need to know who is it that I can talk to, which individuals, organizations, companies, or agencies do I need to contact to get this information. And if I get that list down to something that's manageable, then that means that my job is going to be made easier because I've already done some of this work by letting my fingers do the walking instead of me doing the walking or flying or driving or whatever it took to get to wherever I need to get this data. The processes for gathering the data. And what that involves is how much of this is going to be done online, how much of this is going to be done by telephone calls, how much of this is going to be done by researching files or going through records or whatever it is that I'm going to do. And so that's important for us to identify those processes. The third is, how much time do I have available to do this? Remember I said how much does it cost, how long is it going to take, and what's it going to look like? So the schedule for the market research sessions, if I know that I only have a week to get this done, then that is going to dictate a lot. Because that means I need to schedule these, they need to come in to visit me, or I have to go visit them, and I need to be done with it in that week. If I have more time, then I plan accordingly. But the bottom line is I need to know that this is a finite number of people that I'm going to have come and visit me or that I'm going to visit, because we don't have unlimited budgets, nor do we have unlimited schedules. And then we need to figure out how are we going to synthesize and analyze the data that we actually get out of these. And so are we going to put it into Excel spreadsheets? Are we going to put it into Access databases? Or are we going to, compile a bunch of briefings? Are we going to have this all on videotape? How is this going to be done? And so one of the things that we need to figure out is what are going to be the methods that we use for doing this. And then finally, we need to figure out how we're going to record our findings, because there's nothing worse, and this gets to the part of how's this going to look when it's done, back in the kitchen example that I gave. So we want to be able to take those findings and put them into some type of a document so that we can use that as we develop our acquisition strategy. So it's going to have to be available for our use. Okay? So as we look at developing the market research plan, we look at the objectives, we look at the people and organizations, companies, and agencies that we're going to contact. We look at the processes that we're going to use for gathering that data. We have to schedule this because we do have a finite time that's available. We need to figure out how we're going to analyze and synthesize the data. And then finally, what's it going to look like when we're done? Okay? So that is, in a nutshell, the market research plan.